Hi everyone, it's Becky here from Ivy's Corner for my final video in this little series of drawing the strings for Project Pack 26. Now, if you have already watched a lot of these videos, you'll have heard me say all this before, but I am essentially doing a little series of videos where I'm recreating the strings from the pre-strung Zendalas in Project Pack 26 from Zentangle HQ. I'd always recommend, if you can, that you try and buy the Zentangle project pack because they help to support the Zentangle Foundation and also Zentangle HQ in creating these amazing project packs for us. I'm going to put the link to where you can buy the project pack in the description of this video below. However, sometimes it's quite tricky to get hold of the project packs. There's quite a hefty minimum order amount from the USA if, like me, you're based in the UK or elsewhere, and sometimes the Zentangle team do say like you can go ahead and create the strings and follow along with whatever kit that you have available to you rather than having to order the project pack, as well as the tiles. It also includes all the equipment and the tools that they use with the team at Zentangle HQ, but you can use whatever you have if you don't have the project pack. Now, because I didn't have the project pack on this occasion, I meted out all the strings for this project pack myself, and I did them all freehand. And a couple of people on Instagram commented on the videos that I posted with time lapses of drawing these strings and the tiles, and asked about how I went about metering out these strings and asked whether I could do a demonstration video of that. So I have decided to record a little series of me drawing the strings for Project Pack 26 in the hope that it will help you guys and show you what I did to create the strings to follow along with the project pack. So without further ado, let's move on. I'll show you my desk. Here it is, a bit untidy because I've been doing lots of drawing of strings. In front of me here I have my Zendala, obviously, and I also have my Ivy's Corner tile divider. Now this is a document that you can download for free from my website. I'm going to put a little link in the description to where you can do that, but it's a really useful tool when it comes to dividing up your tiles and finding ways to create equal spaces on your tiles, and it works with all of the tiles currently available from Zentangle HQ, excluding the Opus tile, which is too big to fit on this page. So you'll see here you can work through many different tiles, place them on top, and use these lines to help you divide up your space. There is some instructions to let you know how to go about doing that, because obviously it looks a little bit confusing, but you can also then go through to the relevant tile section. We have them for all of them here, and I'm going to work with the Zendala one, obviously. So here's my tile divider, and to use it, all I'm going to do is place my Zendala tile on top of my my template here. Now, I should have said the tile that I'm going to be metering out on this occasion is the bonus tile from Zentangle HQ. So in the project pack and in the kind of the kit of that came with the project pack, it came with some beautiful new pre-strung Zendala tiles, and obviously the theme of this project pack is on strings and how we use them in Zentangle and how much inspiration they can provide for us when we're working on our artwork, how they provide an elegance of limits and how they can give us inspiration or like a kind of a structure to what we're drawing. And in this project pack there were it was accompanied by 8 wonderful lessons that are available on the Zentangle HQ YouTube. I'll put a link to that as well, or maybe I'll put a link up here somewhere. Now on these wonderful videos, the team worked through one of 8 different tiles that were in the project pack, a different one each lesson. But there was a 9th tile available in the project pack. Now I actually missed this when I first went ahead because I didn't have the kit. I didn't know that there was this extra tile available. So I didn't do this until a few days after the project pack, when I realised that they were being posted online, and I thought, I want a piece of that. So I went ahead and meted out my string, having seen these additional tiles available. I found a picture of it on the wrap-up YouTube channel, YouTube video from Zentangle. So it had a picture of the tile that they used. And this was then given to us as a bit of a challenge to see what we wanted to do with this particular string, having watched all the videos and worked through the project pack. So it's a really interesting challenge, and it's interesting to see how everyone came up with something slightly different. So this is going to be the tile for the bonus tile for Project Pack 26, tile number 9. And I will show you how I went about metering out my string. So with this particular tile, it's comprised of lots of different circles. And so what I did to begin with was to mark out my 4 points on my tile. So I'm going to draw using 12, 3, 6 and 9. I'm using my points in the clock face there to draw out 4 markers of where my 4 kind of points that I'm going to use are. I'm going to get rid of this tile divider for the moment, and I'm going to grab my pen, which is just going to give me a bit of a guideline of where I'm going to draw my centre point. So I don't want to use any compasses or rulers to help me make this too precise. In line with the kind of the Zentangle method, the traditional Zentangle method, I want to keep things kind of freehand and free of any kind of stress about lines being straight, or, you know, it kind of adheres to the Zentangle philosophy a bit more. Let me zoom in actually for you so you can see a bit better what I'm up to. And I'm going to just refocus my camera. There we go. So here we have my 4 points on my tile, which I've divided up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly draw in a border here. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring my tile divider back. I'm actually going to, because I only need 4 points really on this, but I'm just for guidance, I'm going to mark in the intervening points here as well. So I'm dividing this into 8. But these are kind of like secondary points that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use that as well to help me kind of guide my border. And I'm just drawing a nice curved line to give me a nice border around the edge of my tile. This is an optional step. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Curving around. Like so. So there's my nice border. Now I'm focusing on my 4 points here. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'm going to start from the centre, and I'm going to draw 2 large orbs. So not dissimilar, in fact, to the tile that we did on day, I think it was day 6, I want to say. It's going to look quite similar to this in its construction. So we're going to draw 4 large orbs between the centre point and the outer point here, and then that is kind of where the similarities end. So I'm going to just use the heel of my hand to roughly draw this orb, and it's not going to be perfect. And you can be kind of light with the touch of your pencil. You don't have to always press down really hard. I'm sort of just tickling the surface of the paper with the graphite to get a bit of an idea of where this line's going to go. And you can be rough with it and then refine it and sculpt it as you go. So this, to me, looks mostly, it's obviously not a perfect circle, but that's fine. I'm going to do another one opposite. So from the centre point to this opposite point here. And I'm just sketching it out. Like so, bringing it round. I want it to be sort of equal in size to the one that's opposite it. And it should be, because everything's roughly metered out to be the same or in equal kind of proportions. So just sketching that. And what you can do is then grab, I've got this precision eraser here, and just to kind of use it to help me sculpt those lines a little more. Kind of like an anti-torsion, I once heard someone describe a precision eraser as, which I thought was quite a good description. I'm just going to adjust this slightly because I'm not completely happy with how that orb's coming through. But I mean, it's only a rough guide, it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. But you see how you can kind of use this precision eraser just to sculpt your sketchy lines. Just one more little adjustment here. Okay, so I have my 2 initial large orbs, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another 2 orbs that kind of hide behind, but I'm going to draw them so they, like, you can see this line overlapping, and then I'll just erase it in a minute. So the same thing up to this, on the side up to this top point here, and you should find that this intersection roughly lines up with the point that you marked here. So just adding those pencil lines in gently to give you your circle or your orb, and then sculpting with the precision eraser. I'm disappearing off screen, apologies. Hopefully that wasn't disappearing too much and you've seen most of it. Just make sure this is focused. So I'm going to do the second one, or the fourth one in fact, between the centre point and this section. And just gently bringing it round. And you can see it's gone a little bit wonky here, but that's not a problem. Just adjusting things so that they look roughly equal. And then I'm going to sculpt that a little bit more, so I'm happy with it. Although a lot of these are going to get erased anyway, these lines. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly mark the centre of these orbs here. And you can kind of use this point, I think roughly marks the centre of your orbs. If you think you draw a line between these two lines, it would kind of give you the centre point of your orbs. Like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 orbs within each of these orbs. And I think for the ease, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 2 that are going to be my front orbs. So this one here and this one here are going to be rising to the front. So I'm going to remove the other lines of the other parts of the orbs here. So anything that doesn't form part of this orb here is going to disappear. And likewise on this side, this line here is vanishing, as is this line. So I have 2 orbs that are kind of at the front and 2 that are tucking in, hollow boring beneath those. And now with these central points of these orbs here, I'm going to draw 2 more orbs within each of these. So from this centre point to this point on the outside. So what we're going to end up with is a line of 4 similarly sized orbs from one side of the tile to the other. Just freehand sketching these. They don't have to be perfect, you can adjust them because we're working in pencil to create our string. It doesn't matter if they're not perfectly circular. They are just a guideline. And actually the thing with this particular string is that you can choose not to use these orbs at all if you don't want to, because the whole point of this tile is that everyone's able to choose or take inspiration from this string however they see fit. There we go. So we have our kind of 4 orbs roughly down the centre, and then we're going to do the same thing. So I am going to just use this central point and draw an orb overlapping here. So you can choose to wait and erase those additional lines later if you want to, but this one is going to be tucked. I'm drawing it in because it's helpful to kind of see where it would come to the centre point. And then likewise with this one, I actually think I've missed the centre point of there quite a bit, but it doesn't really matter because it's all tucking behind. And then you can draw where your orb would go. And then I'll just delete, I'm not working on a computer, just erase these lines so that our 2 central orbs are still sitting on top. Like so. There we go. So these 2 orbs tuck behind, and then the final thing is just to add in 2 more sketchy sort of circles on the outer parts. And that brings us out to having our beautiful string ready to tangle. So I hope that's been useful. Obviously my lines are fairly sketchy. I'm going to probably go through and just refine them slightly more with my precision eraser. You know, there's lots of different different spots where they're not perfect. I'm not worried about that, because obviously this is just a guideline. This is your string, and it will form, take on a completely new form when you begin to add tangles. If you wanted to focus on the spaces and add tangles in those spaces, then you can do. If you want to use the intersections, you want to start using some of the spaces and then ignore other string lines, that's entirely up to you, and that is part of the beauty of using the strings in the Zentangle method. So there is your bonus tile string. I hope you've enjoyed all of these videos together. Let me just show you all of the ones that we've drawn. I've worked through these as I've created all of the strings, and we've got 9 beautiful strings here ready to be drawn on. And obviously I've already drawn all of these strings previously and then tangled on them following the lessons, but I'm going to have another go and work on all these strings again to see what else I can create, not following the videos, because there's lots of exciting opportunities available here, and I'm really kind of excited to see what I can create with them. I hope you've really enjoyed this little series that I've done. Let me find this final one that I did. I've really enjoyed working on them again, actually, and I've now got a lovely pile of tiles to tangle once more. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you would like this video and hit subscribe if you want to follow more of what I have on YouTube. I often post little narrated videos of different tangles and tiles, tips and tricks and things like that. So please do follow me on here and on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, wherever you happen to be. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.